Hey Simlies, it's Deligracy here, and today I'm doing a new speed build of an eco home. Basically, I just felt inspired to create originally a futuristic home, and then the regular exterior shape of it just seemed to lend itself quite nicely to an environmental home or an eco home. And even though we have to use our imaginations in The Sims 4 for it to be eco-friendly, I still thought it lent itself quite nicely to that idea of a home that, blends into its environment and isn't very harmful. So I don't know, let me know what you think, you guys, because I always love hearing your feedback in the comments down below. But anyways, as I said, this was going to be futuristic. I was going to have aliens living in it, so you'll see the family of aliens I have at the front there. And I don't know, I just couldn't get that futuristic feel into it. It just looked like a really, really cool contemporary home. And I was thinking, you know what? I would totally live here. And it's kind of not overly big. It's actually quite a small home. But I mean, it would suit any kind of sim who was really inspired by making their home look beautiful, but at the same time without being overly, over the top about it. Like, it's quite a modest home, but in another way, it's actually a really over the top home. It's an interesting mix. I was watching Grand Designs UK, and I love that show. It's one of my favorite shows to watch with Deligracy, aka my boyfriend. We love watching it together, and there was one episode where it was a shipping container home, and it kind of had one shipping container on top of the other. It was a cantilever shipping container home, and it was so cool. So I think it's partly inspired by that. But then I also used these lights, these long lights, to kind of bring in or make it look a little bit more dynamic. I was just having a lot of fun experimenting with that. And I'm sure others on the gallery have experimented with this as well, but I personally hadn't seen it, so it was quite a nice and fun discovery for me, and I got a bit of a kick out of it. It's a shame, though, that we can't change the color of those lights. Actually, I suppose we could change the color of the actual light in live mode, but we can't make those strips black or anything, and I thought it would be a pretty good decor item if we could have changed the colors of it. But you can kind of see the house here taking a very, very irregular and contemporary shape. This kind of style I love. I love grass roofs. I love how grass roofs of homes kind of enable them to blend so seamlessly into their environments. And that was one part of this that I really enjoyed doing. And we're trying to use a lot of natural color schemes to kind of express that this is an eco-friendly house. So we've got the brown woods, we've got a lot of green walls, and the idea is that it would blend into its environment really nicely and not disrupt its surroundings, which I think a lot of homes do. And I think a lot of people forget that sometimes, well, in my opinion, some of the most tasteful homes definitely blend into their environment. I don't know, I just like them. I'm into that look. So yeah, this house is going to have one master bedroom upstairs and a main bathroom. It's also got a nice little kitchen, living area, and it's going to have several balcony areas. So it's kind of a cute house for entertaining. You could do a lot of skill building in this house as well. You could put easels in there, chessboards. You could have a different skill building object on every balcony. So if you just have one sim that you're trying to max out all their skills or something, this could be a really good house for that. And I just love how irregular the shape is. I love the roof as well, that top bit, how it just is kind of diagonally placed across. And it was a lot of fun taking the screenshots because I was like, oh, I don't know what angle to take. When I say it was a lot of fun, it was actually really hard. So I'll be interested to see how difficult it is to choose a thumbnail for this one. This little area I'm going to call it the green section of the house, we do end up extending that and bringing it out a little bit more where the glass windows are, just because the living space was a little bit too small. I think that you could definitely add on to this house really easily. So if you had a single sim and they coupled up with another sim and they had or adopted kids, you could definitely make it bigger really easily, or even just make a bungalow out the back, like for a kiddie's playroom or something like that. That could kind of be cool. And I love green at the moment. I'm having a real phase in my life where I just love the color green. I am just that into it. I don't know what it is. And I'm talking about green in every aspect of my life. I'm talking cushions. I just bought green cushions. I'm talking clothes. I'm talking jewelry. I just love green right now. So it's no surprise that I incorporated a lot of green into this build. I also had a little bit of difficulty with putting the decorative roof, frills around the house. Because of the strips of lighting, the rooms were separating and not looking as clean cut as I wanted. So I actually ended up experimenting with some of the other roofing tools. I forgot what those little things are called that we're doing right now, but those things, whatever they are, I decided to use those as an extra modern or contemporary detail in some of the different nooks and crannies of the house, which I thought was kind of nice. And I also had a bit of a kick out of using these industrial steps. You know, they've got that industrial feel. They're not the typical modern steps that I'd usually use in The Sims 4. They've got a little bit more character to them. So I think that definitely gives this house a little bit more of an experimental feel when you actually get to the entrance. Right now, we're just doing a little bit of landscaping. Usually, landscaping for me is pretty over the top. Like, I like to mix it up big time with different plants, different trees, make it all look pretty. But this time I decided to go with simple is best. Less is more. I just wanted this house to be very clean, very crisp, very nice. And I love, love, love this roof pattern that we're working on. I think this is exactly what the roof needed. And we actually haven't completed it yet. We're going to change the color of it and add in a few more details. But that's kind of the beginning of it. We'll add a few more pieces up there soon. And this bit out the back, you could easily put a pool in here. Like I said, you could extend it. But just for now, we're going to put a nice outdoor table and barbecue, and that's about it. Just keeping it nice and simple. And I also wanted to keep the cost down of this house as well. So it was actually something that you guys could move your Sims into realistically if it was unfurnished. So I decided not to include a pool in this build. And personally, I've never had a pool, so even though I put them in most of my Sims houses, it's kind of refreshing to have a Sims house without everything already. Something to work up to. Loving these trees as well. I think they're so pretty. And of course, using the terrain painting tool, I say this in every single build, how important it is to get that terrain happening. And also a nice little footpath here, which I think ties in really nicely to the brown weatherboard of the house as well. And just putting in some rocks there, which I've never done before in The Sims 4, I don't think. That's a change. That's a little bit different for me. And of course, I love those little rounded, sneaky cactus plants. I don't think I've ever seen one of those in real life, actually. I'd really like to know how common they are because I want one. You guys know how much I love my cactus plants, so that would be pretty cool. Just working on the back balcony just there and, making a few changes that I thought needed to be done. We're going to have to light this place up as well. And another thing that's always tricky is knowing where to put the staircase. It's always tricky because I wish we could go down from the upper level with the staircase, but you can only build up. So it's always difficult to know exactly where that staircase is going to end up going in. And we're just sectioning off a little bit there to be made into a bathroom. Soon we'll extend a few of these rooms so we can actually fit in a bit more living space. And you could really use the new Sims 4 build tools to your advantage, or building style to your advantage in this build, because you could literally just push and pull it to make it bigger. And it would be bigger really easily. It wouldn't take much work at all to renovate this house or expand it, which is always a good thing. I couldn't bring myself to get rid of that little balcony over there. I loved that little hidey hole area, so we kept that and just extended it out a little bit. And whoof, I'm starting to get a little bit dizzy. There's a lot of spinning around just there. And now we figure out the kitchen. It's been a while since I used the industrial countertops, so it was kind of nice to use them again. And we put in a really, really, really nice wooden wallpaper. Well, I like the wooden wallpaper. We'll see what you guys think. But I quite like it. And we do get rid of one door because having the double doors was just a little bit of an overkill. So we'll make room for a fridge soon. These lights, even though I like them, felt like they were too distracting from the rest of the house, seeming it's a very simple house. They would have had to be the accent of that entire room. And I just felt like it was too small a space to have anything like a light pendant speaking that much for itself, you know? It was just a bit much. And where's our wallpaper? It's coming up soon. Yay! There it is. And it just matches those countertops perfectly. I think I'd like to use that again. Although I had this feeling when I was working on the stovetop area, I was thinking, I feel like because this wall is wood, it would catch on fire. So we put a mirrored splashback in just to feel a little bit more realistic. And also some cupboard spaces, which we're going to change to wood as well because, you know, it was just looking a little bit stark there for a while. So I wanted to get rid of those. And this corner cabinet was just too much, girl, too much. Just was not feeling it. But yeah, that wood looks much nicer. It's just a little less in your face, you know? And I'm super excited because tomorrow I am actually going to be going to Sydney. I think I'll probably have a day break after this video where there won't be videos. Hopefully I can get a vlog up soon after just because I will be away. And yes, I could have pre-recorded videos, but I didn't because I had a big weekend being a social bunny. So that's why. And you know what? I like to do that sometimes. So I think that's fair enough. But yeah, I'll try and vlog while I'm in Sydney, and I'm also interviewing the creative director of UFC 2, which I'm pretty excited about because I love being a graphic designer. I love hearing about any design roles in any industry. Anything creative I am into and I want to hear about and ask questions about. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And I'm also doing a few things for The Sims as well at Sydney Western University, and possibly doing something with the radio station. So I'll let you guys know on Twitter and Instagram what I'm up to. So definitely keep an eye on that, and you'll be able to follow me wherever I go, and Snapchat too, because Snapchat's fun, which is also at Deligracy. I am surprised about how many Simlies ask what my Snapchat name is because I just, I don't know, I just assume Deligracy is the first thing you'd type in, but I suppose Deligracy gets taken a lot now. Oh, and another thing I really love right now is terracotta pots. I'm loving the terracotta, especially with that warm orangey wood timber wall. Those pots along the fireplace just tie in really nicely with that. And it's all about tying things in, but not tying them too tightly. So you've got to just tie it in here and there, but you're allowed to have a few things that just stand out from the crowd, you know? Humans are actually attracted to irregularities. Is that a word? Irregularities. Yes. I just had to think about that then. You know how a lot of wheels on cars, you have rims? Most of those rims are odd numbered, and that's because the human eye is attracted to odd numbers as opposed to even numbers. So we actually like asymmetry, even though most people think we like symmetry. I learnt this from a very, very good automotive designer who actually came to my uni to teach us how to draw cars, which is pretty cool. And I think he had worked for Audi and Mercedes and all those car brands, and he said, yep, that is why there is an odd amount of thingamabobs on the rims. I don't know what the thingamabobs are called. Spindly bits. Spindly. I love that word. Spindly is such a cool word. It's one of those words that sound like what they're describing. Spindly. Anyways, also just making this bathroom pretty plain. Again, I'm feeling quite restricted by the swatches in The Sims 4, so we're just going with simple greens and oranges to complement each other. But if we had more swatches, it would make life a lot more exciting and experimental. So I'm still secretly hoping in The Sims 4 we do get some other Swatch engine put in eventually. That would be really good. And these are the garden patches. Just putting them outside because an eco house would not be an eco house without some gardening for you to have your own vegetable garden at. And just painting that terrain as well again. Saving too, because I've lost my saves recently. You guys who have been in the live streams would know that the saves... Oh, you guys have to keep reminding me to save my game because some of the saves did not save. And it was very, very, very upsetting. Loving this yellow as well. There's actually a lot of green in this and some hints of yellow, which I'm really loving, just randomly, which represents the sunlight. And then upstairs, this bedroom, I guess the color scheme we have a couple of goes at. This first color scheme is way too brown. It just looked like chocolate. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like sleeping in chocolate. I like chocolate, but I don't want to sleep in chocolate. I like sleeping in lighter colors. Does that even make sense? I have no idea. But yeah, it was just too dark. I didn't like it. So we get rid of it. Well, we don't get rid of the whole thing. We just change it up to a bit of pastel blue, which I much prefer. And I do kind of like how there's the bookshelves on either side. I feel like we need some tall single bookshelves to put in those slots. I think we have double space bookshelves that go from floor to ceiling, but we don't really have single ones that are just flat faced, which is what I'm kind of wanting. So anyways, I thought it was kind of cool having tiles upstairs as well for a change. I never do that in The Sims, so just because I've never had tiles in my bedroom. So I thought that would be kind of fun with a rug. And we're just trying to figure out some paintings. And one thing I was really trying to do is not make this room too girly, because I felt like right now it was looking pretty girly. And even though it's blue, I don't know, it was just... This house I want to be able to be used by any Sims player without it feeling like it's made for a specific Sim. I wanted it to be like you could have a boy stay in here or a girl stay in here or whatever family, elder, what have you. So in the end, we do change the bed cover and I think it comes together pretty well. It's just more of a neutral bedroom. And then again, we're trying to tie in the rug into those orangey walls, which is always difficult. But yeah, I think that looked okay. It's just a bit more gender neutral that way with the cream and the orange and the blue. The orange, or that rustic orange, I guess, just, hardens the area up a little bit, if that makes sense. And we've got a nice little outdoor sitting area here if you want to get romantic before you go to bed in the evening. You could probably extend that pretty easily and put a spa bath on there or something like that. And we are just about to go into the screenshots. In a second, here we go. So here we have the exterior of the house. You can see that fun ceiling pattern, and we're going around to the side of the house where there's another entrance. Several entrances in this house, and I also love that little shoe rack there. Lots of plants, lots of greenery. If this was a Sims 1, you would be constantly watering your plants, but luckily in the Sims 4, you don't have to. Little study nook as well. Love the yellow lamp for a change, and the upstairs area. And then we're just going to have a little look around the house outside. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this build. And let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see any other builds you have in your mind. But anyways, I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. I'll speak to you soon.